Allahu Akbar.
To do is, we'd like to introduce first of all the our president, Brother Khwaja Najmuddin. He's here with us. He is the president of the ICNA Southern California unit, and he has been kind of leading us this year and doing, being very involved in the projects that ICNA is doing all across Southern California. So I'd like to introduce him to maybe just give an overview of ICNA and some of the projects that we're doing, especially in this time of COVID, inshallah. So, Brother Khaja.
Anis, can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
there you go. We can hear you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam.
In this few minutes, we'll try to go over some of the activities that we have done most recently, and also an overview of what ICNA does overall. It's always a good reminder in these kind of settings. Mostly, I see that our core members are joining the call, but it's always good to have a reminder on what we are doing and why we are doing. So let's go ahead. So the purpose of ICNA, I wanted to spend a little bit of time here. So whenever, before going into some technical terms, mission statement, vision statement, sometimes we get lost in these terminology. So the basic idea, whenever you see a logo of ICNA, this ayah should come to our mind, which is a responsibility has been ordained on us collectively as Muslim Ummah in this part of the nation to deliver the message to the masses. This has been made it clear through this verse, وَلْتَكُمْ مِنْكُمْ أُمَّةٌ يَدْعُونَ إِلَى الْخَيْرِ وَيَعْمُرُونَ بِالْمَعْرُوفِ وَيَنْهَوْنَ عَنِ الْمُنْكَرِ وَأُولَٰئِكَ هُمُ الْمُفْلِحُونَ. So whenever you see this ICNA logo, please remember this verse. Our job is to deliver this obligation that has been put on us so we can pass on this torch to the generation that is to come. So in order to do this job, that is to convey this message to the future generations, that includes our Muslim community and also above and beyond the Muslim community. So one way ICNA has done this job of a collective responsibility on conveying this message to the masses is through empowerment of Muslims in itself, which you see on the left-hand side. And on the right-hand side, the other prong is to approach to the masses who are not aware of Islam, or if they are aware of Islam, they have some misunderstandings. So we have over the last 52 years that ICNA has existed as a grassroots organization, as you can see it in next slide, we have in every major city in the US, at least 44 major cities, we have a presence in one shape or form through one of these empowerment programs that we have. Either it could be ICNA Sisters Presence or ICNA Relief, Social Justice, Embrace, you name it. So I would like you to be part of it, no matter what age you are in. We have a program. We need to go together as one strong Muslim Ummah. So these are all the programs for us to empower. On the right-hand side, as you can see, the other prong is to reach out to the masses to clear the misunderstandings. For these, we have two prongs, which is gain peace and Why Islam. So far, mostly you may be familiar with Why Islam since it has been in place for the last 20 years. So we've been trying to reach out to the masses with our message and trying to clarify what Islam is all about. Okay, going to the next slide. Without further ado, what are some of the big challenges that we as an organization face, or as a Muslim Ummah in this part of the nation? So the major challenge, as you know it, we all recognize is Islamophobia that's around us. So in order to deliver this message, to fulfill this obligation that's on us, we have to overcome Islamophobia. How do we overcome? And what is Islamophobia? As you can see, just by the label on the left hand side itself, it shows us there is a lot of negativity that surrounds Islam in America. So what we have to do is we have to overcome this evil, or this repel this evil with good deed, as it has been conveyed to us through the verse of Quran, which is idfa billati hiya ahsan. That's all we could do. We are not here to repel evil with evil. So we are here to do good for those who are even trying to offer us evil. So as just to get an intensity on how far it has gone, the Islamophobia, I just would like to remind you the days that we are living in. Just remind ourselves of the 2016 campaign that Donald Trump was running as he was running for the president. He made comments, right? So that gives us a sense on what field we are in, what are we up to as a Muslim community. So that needs to, this is just not to scare us, but it's a wake up call for all of us. Though we have this responsibility, a huge responsibility to convey this message to the masses, but it has to be taken with good care. Otherwise, if it gets slipped into a hands that can misrepresent Islam, so it can backfire on us. So our obligation to convey this message has to be with a responsible organization. That's why we have ICNA as an entity. One more aspect that I would like to touch upon before I move on to the next slide is, so if we don't do this obligation that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has ordained on us, which is the collective obligation to convey the message, you know what happened to the Muslims that came in as slave traders in 17th century. Almost 30% of the African American that was brought to this land during that time were Muslims. And how many of them do we see as Muslims today? We have around 40 million African American Muslims. They are our brothers. So this is a lesson to the Muslims for the Muslims in America, that if we don't pay attention, if we don't carry this responsibility with a sense of responsibility and with an organized effort, then we may be doomed, actually, the way early Muslims were subjected to losing their religion if we don't stick to this obligation. With that said, so the next challenge I would say beyond Islamophobia is we don't have too many people on hand. We are just a little teeny tiny population in a big crowd of people that are around us. A huge population is non-Muslim. So given the fact that we have a huge task ahead of us, we need a lot of empowerment. Because of this, ICNA has established all these services or departments to empower Muslims so they can feel motivated, they can feel educated, they can feel learned for this message. Because we are offering a lot of, educational programs, training programs, field work. This is how we empower ourselves. Imagine if we are just a small tree under a huge tree that doesn't give us anything except the shade, and we are short of the sunlight to grow as one community. So in order to overcome this difficulty, what we have to do is we have to empower ourselves with all these tools that ICNA provides. My request, humble request, is do not be isolated. Join hands with whichever ICNA department you like and be strong as one ummah, inshallah. We can do this. And the next thing, sometimes people might say out of naive approach, we have to empower the grassroots. Why is ICNA on the path of grassroots? Can we not hire some shuyukh in every city and let them do the job? Perhaps that's not the prophetic model. The prophetic model is to offer this through the grassroots. Each and everyone has the responsibility to convey this message to the masses. It's not upon certain individuals. Yes, ulama has the role to play, but ICNA is up to create a movement, a grassroots organization, so people can take on this message and take on this responsibility. And and I would like to make a clarification. This is, we are not here to hire some people and let them do the job, because the prophetic model is ittabi'u man la yas'alukum ajran wa hum muhtadun. The prophetic model is follow those. If for this job we do not ask for any recompense, any payment. Our model is to motivate grassroots and to get involved. Each and every Muslim should realize their responsibility to convey this message. So that's how we engage with the larger masses, inshallah. So, with the for the past 52 years, with the hard work that we did, we have in some shape and form, we have an existence, as you can see on the map. We have 44 major cities. We have a presence. Anywhere you go out, if you are a youth, if you go out for studies, we have a presence in major cities. So this is how we grow, and this is how we would like to grow. By the grace of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we have come this far, and I hope inshallah we can overcome these challenges in the future as well. So with that said, I would like to touch upon one of our important Dawa project, which is Wa Islam. It has done a tremendous job, and one of the founding, I mean, there are several founding members perhaps on the call, and they deserve more, to talk about this project. But here, let me share some stats. You know, we have been doing this, arranging Dawa booths, having billboards, to clarify, you know, to reach out to the masses so they get used to this message of Islam. And in this process, we have distributed around 9,200 Dawa brochures. There were 2,000 some Qurans were distributed. Out of all, guess what? Close to 83 people have taken Shahada through our efforts. So we are in it together. I would like, if you have interest in Dawa program, so please enroll with the Wa Islam team, and inshallah we'll let you go through the training process to get engaged in this project. Having said that, just now, a few days ago, we have a billboard that's up in the Hawthorne, city of Hawthorne, that conveys the message. So as you can see, ICNA is always looking for ways and means to share this message. Doesn't matter which scenario, which phase are we going through. Even though we may be thinking, you know, there's nothing much to do in this lockdown situation. But guess what? Wa Islam team was very creative, and they said, we have to come up with a billboard so we can share this message. And there you see on the top right hand side, we have a very big billboard conveying the message of our Holy Prophet on this very crisis that we are dealing with. So this is how creative we need to be so we can approach the masses. And this is not just a single billboard we have. Nationwide, we have around 180 billboards, and there are close to 140 workshops that we have conducted, trained a lot of volunteers. So all this good work,
Just a 1 minute
I'd like you
reminder.
to get involved, inshallah. So the last thing I want to talk about is there are around 40,000 attendees in all the major events that we have organized nationwide. So some of it you may have witnessed going to the conferences and festivals and Muslim Family Day. We didn't get a chance to do Muslim Family Day here. Most recently, inshallah, we'll bring it back as we get out of this crisis, inshallah. With that said, I would like to encourage each one of you to support ICNA, to join hands with ICNA, and be part of us, inshallah. We can grow together. Without further ado, I want to add one more thing. We have ICNA Center here that we all need to be part of it. It's our home to do all these activities that we have been doing. So support ICNA Center as well. With that said, that's all I had for today. Jazakallah khair for joining the webinar. Assalamu alaikum.
Jazakallah for giving us an overview and telling us about the projects of ICNA and some of the work that we're doing. I just wanted to turn our attention to a slide coming up. Just wanted to see if people can just take a few seconds, just look at the slide. So as Brother Najam just kind of mentioned about ICNA and the projects, we also just wanted to reach out and just mention that, please do, support our work. And this is, your support is kind of what makes us do the work that we do during this time of COVID and, throughout the remaining year and, the future years. So there's a couple of, ways you can support us. There's a website up above, icnasocal.org/donate. We also have, a PayPal ID and, a Zelle information as well if you would like to make direct donations. So just wanted to, make the point of, supporting us and, using that information there to continue to support us, especially in these last few nights of Ramadan.